for hearts. I'm a sucker for hearts. Hearts, hearts. I'm a sucker for hearts. Hearts, hearts. I'm a sucker for hearts. Oh my God, I'm a fool. Thought I'd never fall into you. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's so cruel how
welcome everybody. Let me turn this one back on and we'll stop the sharing. Let Joseph in. How is everybody today? So it is so amazing having you all here again. And I am very excited about what we are going to be sharing today. And while we're waiting for the last people to come in and join, because I see a couple of you still joining just now, who would like to have a quick share of how you've been and what you've been up to since we saw you yesterday? And Fred is joining as well. Great to have you as well. Anybody like to share how you are today and what you've been up to since I saw you yesterday? And you can put it in the chat. I know that sometimes everybody's happy to share on the voice, and sometimes you are more keen to put it into the chat, whichever you feel most comfortable with. And then after about 4 minutes, we will start the presentation, giving the last people the chance to come in and join us. But we've got a really great session for you today, and I'm looking forward to sharing that one with you. I always feel that it's such good music at the beginning of the session, and then I have to turn it off in order to be able to start the presentation in this way. But that's okay. We will get back to the presentation and all of the really good stuff in just a moment. So maybe Mary Lou and Ethel, would you like to share how you've been today and what has been going on for you? And then we might encourage everybody else to join in as well. That'll just give the last people the chance to come in and join us. And then when we've done that, we'll get straight into the amazing presentation for today.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope everyone is doing good. Today is a great day. I tried to set up a demo account last night, and it was good to see numbers. Yeah, very interesting, and there's a lot of things to learn. Yeah, so I hope you will also enjoy this session tonight.
Yes, hopefully everybody is going to enjoy it just as much as you have. And I just realized that my headphone wasn't on, but I've turned it on. So hopefully the sound is even better than it was before. And has Mary Lou also joined? Do you want to also quickly say how you are and what you've been up to? Or did you drop off? I just had a look and I don't think I see Mary Lou there anymore. Anybody else like to share how you've been since yesterday quickly? And then whoever is next, after that, we will get into the presentation because I don't want to waste your time. I want to make sure that we show you that your time is very valuable. We'll make sure that we finish on time today as well so that you can get on to whatever it is that you need to do, and also implementing, because we spoke about speed of implementation and the importance of that yesterday. So would anybody else like to share what you've been up to and how you are since yesterday? Otherwise, we'll just slowly get into the presentation. Everybody a little bit more quiet today by the looks of it. That's all good. Okay. Oh, Vincent says that he is good. Perfect. Glad to hear that. It's important to be good. Then, if that's everything that you'd like to share, everybody's just really excited, I reckon, to be able to hear the rest of the presentation after an amazing first 3 days. So let's get into day 4. Here we go. We're going to share the screen. And we've done everything that we need to do to prepare for it. I'm just going to move the faces out of the way so I can get to the button that I need to press. Here we go.
Inside your bedroom, we stopped counting the days, lost in the
It's a bit hard to
rhythm.
move, so it will actually.
Physical silence, no need to.
So my toolbar doesn't want to move out of the way so I can actually get to the volume button. But there we go. There is another way of doing it, and I just need to move to the second slide. And let's have a look. Fred says, bring it on. So thank you for your enthusiasm, Fred. I know that you've been enjoying, and a lot of you have been enjoying, which is really good. So let's get into the presentation. Stephen's joined us as well. So let's start with a quick recap. So on day one, we did a quick overview of what Forex is, why Forex can be an amazing tool. We spoke about the need for financial speed, and we're going to continue talking about that. And then on day two, we spoke about how to stop losing money in Forex and some of the biggest mistakes that people make. Yesterday, we spoke about unleashing the secret to creating profitable Forex algorithms rather than just doing things manually and potentially even guessing, as opposed to using an algorithm, using a strategy. And today we're going to look at more advanced Forex tools for smarter trading. And today is the day that we start talking about using other people's money, which is what I think most of you are here for and are most excited about. Who wants to use their own money when you can use somebody else's money? And give me a yes or no in the chat if you agree, if you'd prefer to use somebody else's money to make even more money than just using your own and putting your own money at risk. So Stephen says absolutely yes. Does everybody else agree with that? Or would you prefer using your own money? I think everybody's a bit tired. Did everybody stay up late last night after the presentation and decide that they wanted to do something extra? Here we go. Everybody's a little bit less shy now. Ethel says yes as well. Perfect. Oh, now they're all coming in. Vincent says yes. Joseph says yes. Everybody would prefer to use other people's money. Perfect. Okay, so since we have started, I got some of you who have already been here to set up a demo account. And I was wondering, for those of you who haven't already traded, have you taken the time to play around with that a little bit? Have you decided to look into it a little bit deeper? Or is it something that you thought you would do later and you haven't really gotten around to? Because as we decided and discussed yesterday, it is really important to make sure that you have the speed of action, that you are enthusiastic about learning something, and that you find ways to implement it as soon as possible. And I was also sharing about the fact that I like to teach people in order to be able to learn quicker myself, to imprint the knowledge in for myself, so that I am better able to get better results more quickly. So did anybody play around? Has anybody done anything with what you have learned so far? Let me know in the chat if and what you've been doing up until this point. So Joseph says, I was playing around. Perfect. That is really great. Hopefully it was with the demo account. Don't use a real account until you know a little bit better what you are doing, because you are playing with real money. And as we said on day 1 or 2, I think it was, day 2, I think, there is only so much, or you can make a lot of money, but you can also lose a lot of money quickly if you don't know what you are doing. But with the right strategy, with all the things that we are going to be teaching you over these 5 days, you are going to have a much better chance of making money than losing money. And welcome to Claudio. I see that you have joined as well. Great to have you again too. And I really appreciate you being here. Okay, so really good that some of you have been playing around a little bit and thinking about different things. Had anybody done any work with regards to the 4% that I was telling you about yesterday? Has anybody been thinking about what kind of strategies to use for the 4% per year, or the 4% per month, or the 4% per week, I suppose, or maybe even 4% per day, depending on where you're at right now with your Forex trading? Has anybody given that some thought? And Claudio says, hello back. Has anybody given that some thought? Because that was a part of your home play from yesterday. So I'm not very strict on the home play, so you don't need to worry about that. But we're going to talk a little bit about why I was talking about that 4% today. And that is the key to being able to trade with other people's money. And we'll get to that tonight, which is really good. And Fred says 4% a year is just money in a savings account. Yes, it's more fun when you can do it yourself and you're doing that with a Forex account as opposed to just doing it in the bank. And then it becomes even more fun because the bank isn't really going to increase it on your terms. The bank, you have to wait for them to increase interest rates. But if you are creating strategies in your Forex, then if you are starting at 4% per year, then you are in control. You can learn more, you can implement more, and that allows you to then be able to increase it from 4% to more than 4%. And that's where the really wealthy people are able to do some amazing things. Okay, perfect. Excuse me for a second. I'm just going to, Mary Lou dropped off and she is back again. So I'm just going to quickly make her a co-host. There we go. Okay, so yesterday we were very good at making a little bit of money. It wasn't big because we weren't looking to make anything big, but we made a profit of $1.19. And as we said, if we would have used a larger lot size, if we would have put more money into the trade, if we would have risked a little bit more, then we could have made $11.90 or $119, depending on what we would have done. Obviously, yesterday we were doing more of demonstrating for the beginners, and we were using a strategy that the wealthy use, which is using the expertise of the people who already have some knowledge in that area. So we were all guessing as to which way it would go, up or down, and it was the majority of people who guessed down, and that was the correct direction. And it was mainly those of you who already had some knowledge around it. And we'll talk about that as well in just a moment. So well done yesterday for picking the right direction. And that was really, really good. It doesn't always happen in the presentation that we get the right direction, but it is a really great exercise to see the power, especially when you have a couple of people who know a little bit more about it. But everything that we've done up until this point in the last 3 days has only been the tip of the iceberg. And there is so much more that you would need to learn. And there is definitely not enough time in 5 days to be able to teach you everything. But would you like a shortcut to making a strategy to start off with? Let me know if that is something that you would love to be able to do. Fred definitely wants to. Anybody else? Or are you saying, that should be fine? Stephen says 100%. Joseph, yes, definitely. Stephen, we've got 2 Stephens. Claudio says yes, and Vincent, yes for me too. Perfect. So let me just move this over across a little bit. So there's a couple of different things that we can do in order to create a strategy. We can learn and do it ourselves manually. That is one way. And I'm just going to ask again, is this the kind of way that everybody would be happy with, or would you like a slightly better way than that? I'm keeping you on your toes today. Fred says yes. Everybody else agree with that? Steven says that's definitely better. Better than manual, better, yes, perfect, because that's what we are all here for. Or you can also make an algorithm by yourself, and that algorithm is then going to trade by itself. And this is a copy of an algorithm that I have created with Dave, who was with us yesterday, who wasn't able to make it today. But this is an algorithm and it goes a little bit deeper. This is just one layer of that algorithm. And this will automatically trade, and it will trade for 23 hours a day. And yes, we made that one by ourselves. And we shared each other's expertise to be able to do that. So that is a second way, learning about algorithms and then making an algorithm yourself. Now, I've already given a little bit of the secret on the next one because Dave and I worked on this one together, and he has a lot more coding knowledge than me. I am more the ideas person that comes up with the idea for the algorithm. He has a couple as well, but he helped me to put the algorithm together because he is a programmer. So the second methodology is to hire somebody else in order to be able to create the algorithm, to create the strategy, or to be able to put it all together. Now, in my case, obviously, I used Dave for that because I trust Dave. I've known him for a very long time. Because you want to be careful with this strategy. If you go to Fiverr, there are a couple of people that are going to want to scam you, and that is going to prevent you from getting a really good strategy. So you want to be able to make sure that if you're going to hire somebody, that you do it in a way that it's somebody that you can trust and that you know that they are definitely going to have the right strategy for you, that it's really going to work, and that it is, yeah, going to make you some real money, because that's ultimately what you want to do. But again, it's a slightly smarter strategy than just doing it on your own. And we'll talk about more of that in just a moment, but that is another way of being able to get started. Sometimes you can also just hire somebody in order to be able to get the initial basis. So I actually got, as I said 2 days ago, ChatGPT to write a code for me. Now, ChatGPT will automatically put some mistakes in there because it's being programmed to not give anybody a working trading algorithm. But that code is actually able to be taken to somebody that can write code, and they can take the mistakes out in order for it to then be a successful strategy. But you have to come up with the idea for the strategy yourself first. So you might have to have a look at a lot of charts, have a think about how the market is working, understand that when more people are buying, the price will go up. When more people are selling, the price will go down, and that's related to the news, that's related to all these different things, and that some people are using the candlesticks. So depending on the candlestick, if there is a majority of people that believe in the candlesticks, then they will be placing their trades based on what the candlesticks are supposedly saying. So it is really important to start understanding more, going deeply, just as we said yesterday, so that you can then come up with some ideas and hire somebody to help you out, whereby you're not doing it alone. But taking it even further, and this is the really exciting part that I have been waiting to share with you, it's called a leveraged investment. And I was a little bit worried that Rashid was going to spill the beans yesterday, because he asked whether we were going to be talking about something called a prop firm. And it is indeed what we are going to be talking about. So if you've come up with your own strategy, and you don't necessarily have to come up with a strategy. As we said, you can hire somebody, you can work together with somebody, you can find them in different places. But once you have a strategy, and you can borrow other people's strategies, there are all these different things that you can do. But once you have this strategy, you can then do what's called running a test with a prop firm. And this is an example of a prop firm challenge, where you're going to start with a starting balance, and then you have a maximum loss that you're allowed to have. If you lose more than that, then you drop out of the challenge, but you can do the challenge one more time, and you have a profit target. So in challenge one, you start with a demo account of $25,000. You're not allowed to lose more than 5%, in this case, 1,250 on a daily basis. And your profit target is to make 1,500. If you pass that test, you pass on to challenge two. Then you get a $50,000 demo account, and you're not allowed to lose more than 2,500. And your aim is to reach a profit of 3,000. When you've done that, you pass on to challenge number three. If you've passed all three of those challenges, then they might give you some money in order to be able to invest using their money, and they will pay you a percentage of that money. So here is a table. Once you have passed all of those tests, then it starts looking just a little bit different. So you might start, for example, with a $100,000 account, of which most of that is not your own. So you need to put in a little bit of money yourself. But that 100,000 comes from the prop firm. They give you that money because you have proven in challenge 1, 2, and 3 that you know what you are doing, because you have made 6% without losing more than 5%. They give you this money, and then your maximum loss is 4%, and your profit target is 5%, and they will pay you 50-50. So whatever you make with that 100,000, if you make the 5,000, they will pay you 2,500, which isn't bad at all, because that 100,000 was never yours to start with. So just in the chat, how many of you would struggle to be able to come up with 100,000 account if I asked you to come up with a 100,000 account right now? Some of you might be able to, some of you might not. Fred says copy trading ? So yes, you can copy trade, but certain prop firms are only going to allow you to have one particular strategy. And if they know that that's already been done by somebody else, you might not be able to copy that one. So Fred says for sure, not me. And Steven says me. So not everybody can come up with 100,000. So if you set up an account and you're trading with $3,000, then you might be lucky to be able to make $20, $30 per day on that account. And you could lose $400, $500 in a day if you're not sure of what you are doing. But if you do know what you are doing and you've managed to pass challenge 1, 2, and 3, then if you had access to 100,000, you have a chance of making a lot more money. So it is a great way to be able to access other people's money and be able to be paid a portion of the profits on that huge amount of money. So you can continue down the page here, and you can see that you then can move on to 125,000, 150,000. As long as you don't lose the maximum loss, then you can progress on to the next level and the next level. And then you can enter the second phase of the challenge, and you start with 250,000. And this particular company here will fund you up to 2 million if you've gone through all of these different stages. And when you get to that point, you get to 75-25, 50-50 again, and even 80-20 on that $2 million account. So if that is something that sounds really exciting to you, and you would like to learn how to be able to create a strategy in order to do that, if you are able to then, sorry, something just popped up on the screen, and we will actually provide you with a recording if you like, Stephen, if that's okay. So I'll just do that one there, but we will send you a recording of the whole event. So who would be excited if you'd be able to learn how to create the strategy, be able to pass the test, and be able to get access to this kind of money in order to be able to trade? Obviously, you do need to be able to figure out how to trade in the first place. You need to be able to pass the tests, but that is something that we want to be able to help you with. So that's something that you don't have to worry about in that sense. So Stephen says, thank you. So yes, we will provide you with the recording. That's all fine. And the other Stephen said, great. Does everybody else agree with that? I really think that everybody's been a little bit tired tonight. Stephen says, no brainer, absolutely. So we're going to talk about how you're going to be able to learn that and what you can do in order to be able to get access to these kinds of things. So let's continue on. Unless anybody has any questions about that, let's start talking about how to start heading in that direction. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we will start to continue on. Okay, no questions. We will continue on. Everybody's just excited to see more. So one thing that I have been doing for a long time is I have been networking and masterminding. And I used to own a cafe, as I said on day one. And when I had that cafe, I was constantly going to different events, meeting people, and I was really surrounding myself with the right people. And I'll tell you a very quick story. So imagine that you are one of 4 friends and you meet at the pub every Friday night, and you all drink and you all smoke and you hate your work and you're complaining about work every Friday night at the pub. Now, obviously, you're going to stay in that kind of an environment, and you're going to stay in that kind of health, wealth, relationship kind of scenario. But imagine that one of those 4 friends, and that might be you, say, for example, you decide that you're not really enjoying this kind of life anymore. How would you make the change? What would you do in order to be able to start making that change? And feel free to let me know what your thoughts are on that before I continue with the story. Does anybody have any ideas on if that was you? And obviously, I don't think any of you are exactly like that, but if that was you, what would you do in order to start making the change? I think everybody must have stayed up really late last night. It looks like everybody's a little bit tired, which is fine. Okay, so I'll continue the story in that case. Let's have a look. Here we go. Maybe there's a lag. Is there a lag in my presentation to arriving at your computer, perhaps? So Fred says, find another cash flow source. Stephen says, make new friends. And make new friends is exactly what we are looking to do in this case. So imagine that this is you and you decide you don't really like this kind of lifestyle anymore. So you tell your friends, I am going to join a boot camp on Saturday mornings. Maybe your friends laugh at you, but you decide that you're going to persist with this. So you don't turn up to the pub next Friday and you go to the boot camp on Saturday morning, which happens to be in the park just opposite the pub where your friends meet. And so your friends, they stay out till really late on Saturday morning, and they come out of the pub and they see you exercising and doing the boot camp. And they probably just ignore you. They're drunk and they keep walking home, but they notice you. And so you keep doing this for a little while longer. And one day they see you and they see that you've lost weight. They notice that you look fitter, you look happier, you look healthier. And so some of your friends might feel that they want to come and join you because they can see that things have changed for you. Because as long as things haven't changed, your friends are not likely to see that there's any benefit to them in what is going on for you. But if you persist, you keep exercising, your friends start to notice that you are doing so much better. And maybe one of your friends decides to come and join you. More of them might. Some of them will probably stay the same and be happy with their life the way it is, and that's completely fine. You don't have to ditch your friends, but you can encourage some of them to come and join you. So you go on, and because you are now surrounded by people who are looking after their health, and you might be surrounding yourself with people who are better at their finances. So you talk about how to minimize your tax, how to improve your lifestyle, how to start a business, how to trade Forex, how to do all of these different things, similar to what we were talking about in the example I told about Molly's game. So by doing this, you start to see a change in your life because you're exposed to all of the things that are going to give you the answers that you didn't have before. So very similar to what we were talking about earlier. So I'm going to, after telling you this story, I want to put you into breakout rooms for a moment, and I want you to have a chat with everybody and have a think about how you might be able to implement this into your life. And I realize that some of you seem a little bit tired and less commenty in the chat at the moment. That's completely fine. But let's put you into some breakout rooms, and I want you to have a think about what does that story make you think about? What does that story do to motivate you? And how would you like to change your life after hearing that story? And then I'm looking forward to bringing you back and hearing what it is that you come up with idea-wise on that one. And where have the breakout rooms gone to? They should be in here. There we go. Breakout rooms. So I'm going to put you into 2 breakout rooms, and we'll assign automatically, and we'll include the co-hosts. And yes, both of the girls are in separate rooms. So I'm going to put you in those rooms for a moment and have a think about that story and how you might be able to implement it. So feel free to join those rooms. Room 2, a little bit slower to join so far. There we go, everybody's joining. So for those of you who are on Facebook Live, I've just put everybody into breakout rooms. I'm going to go and meet with everybody in the rooms and see how their conversations are going. And then we're going to bring everybody back and you will be able to join in the main session again. So hold tight for a moment. I'm going to quickly, see how those breakout rooms are going. And then we'll all be back. Okay, so I'm just going to jump into room 2 because we've got everybody in breakout rooms at the moment. So if you are on Facebook Live, we're just in breakout rooms and we will be back and continuing the presentation on how to use other people's money to make profit in the Forex market. Okay, for those of you on Facebook Live, we have just been in breakout rooms. I'm just going to close the breakout rooms, and I am going to bring everybody back into the main session. So let's close all the rooms. And we are obviously talking about how to use other people's money in order to be able to trade successfully in Forex. And I just told a quick story about the people that you spend time with, the people that you hang out with, and how that can affect you, and the importance of being around people that are a little bit above you, so that you are constantly learning and growing from them. Because if you are spending time with people that know how to minimize their tax, if you know people who know how to invest in Forex, if you're spending time with people who know how to invest in real estate, who know how to look after their health, all of those different kinds of things, then you are going to be able to learn and absorb like a sponge the kinds of things that they are doing, and also be able to implement it. If you hang out with people who drink and smoke and don't do anything to really better themselves, then they're not going to be able to teach you anything that will help you to be able to better yourself either. So that is just a quick summary for everybody that was on the Facebook Live, and everybody else in the second group is also joining. And it's so nice to see everybody's faces now, because I was just looking at black screens before. So this is amazing. It's like the turtle traders, the heads have come out from yesterday.
Yeah. We had a very
Okay.
great session.
Yes,
Fred
that's
was
good.
already telling about what he's currently doing. So yeah.
Perfect. Wow. I would love to hear a little bit about that. Would group 2 like to start by volunteering somebody? I have a feeling that, Fred, you're going to get volunteered. Would you like to share a little bit about what you discussed in your group? And then we'll see if somebody from group 1 also had something to share, and what they discussed as well.
Look at for me, the trading journey has been quite, it's been the last maybe three years, and
Yes.
the time when I was investing a lot of time on Forex education. But as I mentioned to the lady on our group, I wasn't, although the snipering and the short-term trading, I found myself spending too much time in front of the computer, watching my charts go up and down, too emotional. You're writing every tick, so to speak. I wanted to gravitate into better success in my longer term trading, but I didn't. My profit and loss wasn't that good. So for that reason, I gave up Forex. So at the moment, I'm venturing into cryptocurrency, and I'm trying to learn futures trading, because I believe that in futures trading, the brokers, broker houses don't have much of an influence on your trade, and yeah, so that's what I'm looking at.
Amazing. So some great experience to be able to share with your group there, and now you've been able to share that with everybody. And my guess, Fred, is that some days you were sitting in front of the computer and it looked like this, and then it looked like,
Yes.
and then it was like this again, and then it was
Yes.
That,
yes.
Would that describe what you were like all day, every day?
Very much, very much. Unless you've got complete confidence in, your stop losses and reading the charts, reading the trend, and if you misread it, the only other variable is what the brokers are if the brokers are manipulating the data. Because I just find that there are situations where if you go against the trend, you can see your money go down real quick. But when you're following the trend, the ticks are so slow, and you're sort of thinking, what are they doing in the background? And obviously, I think that the other people in this classroom should know that when you trade with any broker, the broker has the option of trading against you. So you could be holding a trading account with whichever brokerage you decide to trade with, but the broker has the option of trading against you. So if you put a position in, they can do a position against your position. And for that reason, I just found that sort of environment is not really a fair market environment.
This actually brings us back to the point that I was making before. It's important to be around the right people. And if you're doing it on your own, then you're relying on your own research to be able to find a broker. And how do you know whether that broker is good or not? Because I've also had an account once where I could see that the line had gone below my take profit and it didn't trigger, and it had gone quite a lot below, and then it went back up and I didn't make my profit, even though I should have. Obviously, I didn't stay with that broker for very long because that's not a good situation to be in.
Yeah.
So that's why I love surrounding myself with people who know what they're doing. So I get a lot of brokerage suggestions from friends who I know have reliable brokers that they've never had issues with, who have contacts with the broker, so that I can dial a number, a direct number, and speak to a person that works there directly. So if anything happens, if anything is unsure to me, I can give them a call and say, I think there was an issue. I think there was a glitch. I think something happened. Can we get that fixed? Can we check it? And we can do it immediately rather than having to wait for it. So absolutely.
Yeah. Well, there was a time when, I thought I'd come across a worthwhile trading company, but it's been a while now. I've sort of switched off a bit. Man, I've been enjoying your presentations, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm still considering getting back into the game. If everything's well. The last time I was trading, I was trading with easy markets, and I found them to be pretty honest. Yeah.
See, that would immediately make me think of that. And I would share that I have contacts with ETO, for example, and we'd be able to work together. And I'd be very interested in having a look at your broker now that you've recommended them, because I know that if you've had a good experience, then I'm more likely to test them out. And before jumping into anything, I usually see if I can find 2 or 3 friends that can suggest something based on good results and good experience, so that, I'm using those strategies that I've been teaching for the last 4 days.
Yeah. Easy markets have got a concept of actually insuring your trades. So if you have a trade that's not going well, you can actually back out for a bit of a premium. I think you might want to consider that.
Absolutely. See, this is why I love masterminding and working together and spending time with people who have walked the talk.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you for sharing. That was amazing, Fred. And Mary Lou, was there anybody in group 1 that was sharing anything? Would group 1 like to share anything with regards to your takeaways from the story that I told?
Yeah, I think Stephen Lee will speak to our group, please.
Okay, Stephen, looking forward to hearing from you.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, hello. Yes, I've been trading for many years. I've done many courses and have quite a bit of experience dealing with high-class professional traders that could prove the strategies through not only showing it, but also their profits that they made. I found that it's very hard to sort of get deeper to know people on a personal level, because trading's such a hidden mystery that people who do have a system to trade really don't like to talk about it or share it. But over the years, I have developed a few strategies that work successfully. But talking on all the things I've heard you say tonight, it makes a great difference when you've got people around you that also experience the same experiences through the highs and the lows. So you can confidently get true, insight into when you're having downturns in trades or if you're having good turns in trades. So you keep focused on what the job at hand is without feeling emotional when it comes to trading. So the strategy needs to be backed with people who have done the trading, who have walked the talk, who can also confidently give you the confidence to keep to your trading systems, because you do have times when trading doesn't always pan out and you need to keep to your strategy. So
That is so important. That is a great lesson, and that is a great share for everybody, because there are yesterday, I'm not sure if you were here, Stephen. I think you weren't. But yesterday I told a story about a reality TV show called Turtle Traders. And that was exactly it. The men decided that their ego was going to get in the way, and that they were going to create a better system than the one that they were taught by this professional trader who had taken them off the street. And they wanted to outperform a professional when they knew absolutely nothing about trading at the time. So absolutely, it's so important to have people that hold you accountable and
Yes.
build you up and get you through your challenging times, so that you stay strong and you're able to continue on. Because so many people quit just because they just lose their nerve. Just like Fred was saying, when your heart's beating and you're biting your nails.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
No, thank you for sharing. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Always amazing having people with a really good experience who are joining us as well. So it's been a really great group. So that was, yes, Mary Lou, or were you talking to somebody else and forgot that you were still unmuted?
I just say thanks to Stephen.
Aha, perfect. So
Yeah.
yes, that was an amazing share. Thank you so much. So let's continue on. I need to, first of all, share the screen again, and then we'll go to this one here. So as we were talking about just before we went into the breakout rooms, I have been in many masterminds, and I've always worked really hard to surround myself with people who are going to be able to build me up and grow me and help me to get through my challenging times, similar to what Stephen was talking about, similar to the story of the 4 men in the pub, one who escapes and starts doing things differently and starts surrounding himself with people who understand health, who are going to motivate him to turn up to boot camp every Saturday morning, and who understand how to make those changes in their lives. So if you were in a mastermind and you were able to share some of those ideas, and different people are looking at how they can come up with ideas for strategies as well, and you trust each other, you would be able to start sharing some of those. And it would be a whole new lifestyle being able to do that. Actually, there's another story that I can tell you quickly, because I used to run my cash flow club, and we had a number of people that used to come, and we started working together because it was a smaller group. And if you can find a group of people that trust each other, that work together, the possibilities are absolutely endless. And when I had my cafe, I used to see it in an extremely powerful way. I used to have a cafe in the city, and opposite me was the ING Bank. And the ING Bank, the CEOs used to come over, but also the lending team used to come over. And we'd have people who were drinking coffee, and they were discussing these big project developments. So big property developments that they were building. Some of them were talking about laying in roads and putting in traffic lights. And I used to spend a lot of time cleaning up at the tables around them, because I really wanted to learn about what they were doing. And so they would be professional football players, large scale investors, people who had a lot of skills and knowledge, and they would team up. They used to call it a syndicate. And they would team up and pool their money. So instead of being able to buy a residential property and invest in residential property, they used to pool their money so that they could buy huge plots of land for maybe $5-6 million. And then they would subdivide it, put the roads in, put the traffic lights in, and they would then build multiple homes on there, or they'd build a high rise, or they'd do all these different exciting big projects that had a much bigger return. But in order to do that, they work together. Now, the advantage of that is obviously that you're going to be working with other people who have different ideas, who have different knowledge, who have access to maybe a good lawyer. Somebody else has access to a good accountant. Somebody else has access to, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody has different resources. But you need to be able to trust the people that you're working with. So they would need to show each other their taxable income. They would need to show each other their their income statements, etc., because they needed to be able to know that they could trust each other, that one of them wasn't going to have been a criminal, that they were obviously trustworthy, that their incomes were what they were claiming to be, and that they did have experience with what they were doing. So if you find a group like that, the power in that is phenomenal, and that can really allow you to have a completely new lifestyle. And I noticed this pattern when I was reading a book one day. There was a book that I read that was written by a very successful man. And I noticed that the people who were in the book, because he got all of his friends to write a chapter each, and then the foreword was written by somebody that also was known to him. And so they worked together on a business level, on an investing level, and they all happened to live in the Gold Coast. And they lived this really amazing, wealthy lifestyle. And this was before I started doing some of the bigger things that I was doing. And I was really in awe of what they were doing. And so they used to write books together. And the person that they knew would write the foreword, and they were all in this mastermind. And I put one and one together, and I realized how they were working together. So, you know how sometimes a book on the back cover, it has endorsements by different newspapers or different people? They were making it look like they were being endorsed, and they were doing it through the network of friends that they had. So it's so powerful to be in a mastermind of people, to be able to have access to other people's resources, to be able to trust each other and work together. Because as Stephen was saying, a lot of successful traders will be very secretive with their trading secrets, with their methodologies, with their strategies. So you want to be in a group of people where you work really tightly together, where people may have been vetted to make sure that they're going to keep everything secret that is in that group, where everybody protects each other, where everybody is willing to share, where everybody has resources to share, so that it can really work for the group. So this is another form of noticing patterns of how this can work and how important it is to surround yourself with people. Just like the foreman at the pub, that's not going to get you success. But when you break free of that and you surround yourself with healthy people, with successful people, with people who know how to minimize tax, who know how to do all of these different things, that's when you start to achieve great success. So some of the advantages of being in a mastermind: access to powerful mastermind network, expertly crafted investment strategies for maximum returns. And this is one of the things that I want to be able to have a talk to you about, because I have been in a number of masterminds, and from this, I want to also invite you in to see whether you'd like to be a part of my mastermind, where we are working on different strategies, where we already have a strategy that we're going to put through a prop firm as well, that members would be able to join. So that way you don't have to go through all of the work yourself. You're able to get access directly without having to figure it all out. So excursions to enhance your investment knowledge and experience. I used to take my cash flow group to all sorts of different really interesting places back in the day, and we do the same with the mastermind. So I used to take them to art galleries where they would teach you how to invest in art. I used to take them to the casino to teach them the difference between gambling and investing. And so it wasn't gambling focused, it was investing focused, but showing them what other people were doing that was losing them money, as opposed to how to make money. And then insights into Forex trading for lucrative opportunities. And you're able to also then learn together with us, because we have a course that you can do in order to be able to learn some further fundamentals if you are new. And if you're already experienced, being able to join in and join the discussion on different ideas and setting up different strategies that can then be turned into algorithms. And we have programmers that can help turn your ideas into algorithms if you don't know how to do that. And that are the kind of things that I always get really excited about. Because if you'd like to join a prop firm, but not really sure how or don't have the strategy, then you'd be able to do that through a group rather than doing it on your own. So here are just a couple of other advantages of the mastermind idea, especially being able to get access to resources, because everybody knows somebody, and not everybody knows who they need to know. My French teacher used to always say, it's not what you know, but who you know. If you know the right people, then you have access to resources that somebody that doesn't know so many people doesn't have access to. So for example, this is a small little spreadsheet that I created. And I have been working on spreadsheets for many, many, many months, and by this stage already more than years, in order to be able to create strategies. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. This isn't even the full spreadsheet. It goes even further to the right, and it goes even further down. And I have hundreds of these where I've been working on strategies, so that if some of you don't necessarily have a strategy but would like to get the shortcut, because that's what we've been talking about, the need for financial speed, then you want to potentially be able to get access to strategies that have already been created. And I have hundreds of these, and I know which ones work by this stage, and we're turning some of those into robots. Some of them we already have. And yes, it's always good to have a look at potentially being able to get access to those shortcuts. Now, I know that that is very small, but I wanted to show you how large some of those spreadsheets go and how deeply I have thought about how markets work and different ideas on how to create a winning strategy. I don't know if anybody is squinting at the page, seeing if they can figure out what on earth is on the page there. I don't think you'd be able to read it very well, but I can definitely have a chat to you if you want to have a chat about that idea a little bit further. But today really wanted to share with you mainly the importance of working together with other people, whether that's with my mastermind group, whether it's with somebody else. As long as you start changing the environment that you're in, then you can start changing the results that you get. You can change the lifestyle that you have. That's the most important lesson that I would like to share with you. Yes, I have a mastermind, but however you do it, as long as you do that, as long as you are inspired by that, then that makes me very, very happy. And then second of all, I wanted to show you about prop firms and being able to access other people's money. Now, as Fred was saying in his group, it's really important to make sure that you know what you are doing first. So make sure that you surround yourself with education, but with other people that know what they are doing. And then once you know what you are doing, or you have a strategy, or you have an algorithm, or you have a robot, then you can start implementing it and looking at applying for a prop firm. If you can do it through somebody else, that's also a great way of doing it. But the idea being that you can absolutely use other people's money in order to be able to invest and get leveraged larger returns than you would on your own with if you have a smaller amount of money with the smaller amount of money. And many of us don't have the luxury of putting a large amount, even if we have it, because we might want to save some for a rainy day. We might need some for a property that we are buying or something else that we are doing. So if we can use other people's money, that is going to be able to save us from using all of our own money, and we can use some of that money for other investments, for other things, and still be able to generate a return off of those off of those funds that we are getting from somebody else. Almost twisted my tongue on that one. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. So quick overview. So day one, what is Forex? Why Forex? Day two, the biggest mistakes. We spoke about that. Day three, unleashing the secrets of creating profitable algorithms. And today was all about advanced tools, how to work together, and how to make sure that you can use other people's money once you have figured out how to pass those tests. And that is what we are aiming for. And then tomorrow, we're going to talk about trading success stories, and we're going to share some more things that are going to get you some great learnings in order for you to be able to start implementing this in real life. So that's what I wanted to share today. Does anybody have anything that you would like to share, your biggest takeaways? If you have any questions, feel free to ask those. Feel free to leave a comment in the chat. I hope that you got some great value, just like you did for the last 3 days as well, because I've been getting some amazing comments from people, and we've had a few of you already booking in for a session with me, which has been absolutely amazing. So if all of this appeals to you, if you like the idea of all of this, then you are most welcome to do a session. Absolutely no obligation. If you'd just like to ask me some questions, then that is also completely fine. And we'll put that on the next page. There we go. Actually, I think that still has the old details. Mary Lou and Ethel will put in the details for booking in a session. So feel free to use that one. But please do use this opportunity. Let's have a look. Have I gone over time? I have. I've gone over by 2 minutes. But feel free to let me know what your biggest takeaways were. If you enjoyed the session and whether you would like to share anything else. And you can ask a quick question that doesn't take me too far over time. If you'd like to go into something in a little bit more detail, then feel free to book in a session. The link has been added in. You can find the social media links where we put some different content and different ideas that might also benefit you. So feel free to join us, follow us, use and abuse us a little bit, and book in a session if you like. And Fred, if you're not able to find a session time, let me know when you do have time and we can see if we can make something happen. So just send us an email with some maybe 3 times that you are available, and then we can see if we can make that happen. So that is easily done. I just book in the session times that I usually am available. So feel free to book in. Thank you so much for joining. If there are no other questions, then we will finish here because I value your time and I don't want to go over too much. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. It's been a pleasure having you. And I am so thankful for all of the feedback that you've all been learning some amazing things over the last 4 days. Thank you for your participation as well. That's been amazing too.
Thank you, Mino. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. And thank you, Stephen, as well. And thank you for everybody that shared, and Fred and Joseph and everybody else.
Thanks.
And have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mino. Thanks, everyone.
Good night.